Hi, I'm Martin from Wild Ideas and welcome to the first of a series of short videos that's aim is to get you out in your garden or local park and look, learn and wonder about the nature and wildlife there. So in our first video, this one, we're going to look at the humble dandelion. A few facts and figures first. There are about 250 different species of dandelion in the UK. The name dandelion comes from the French meaning lion tooth. It's a really important early spring flower for food for bees and butterflies. And yes, you can eat all parts of the dandelion, so that's the roots, the leaves and the flowers. But really important here is make sure wherever you pick your dandelion from, so I pick mine from a garden, that you know there's no chemicals been used there. So I don't use any chemicals in my garden, so I know it's safe to eat. And also make sure you're not going to have a reaction to the dandelion as well. So let's go back to the nature side and look at a short video I filmed in my garden just last week.
There you see a small tortoiseshell butterfly feeding on a dandelion in my garden, and you can see from its mouth parts the proboscis feeding from that dandelion, and it's going to fly off in any second now.
How cool was the butterfly, that small tortoiseshell? I know it had the top left of it damage to its wing, but yeah, I could see it feeding. So that shows how important the dandelion is in terms of an early spring flower for nectar, for food, for the insects that are really important in our ecosystem and biodiversity. I mentioned earlier about that you can eat all parts of the dandelion. I'll reiterate the point that you need to make sure that it's clean, washed, but also that wherever you pick them from, so ideally from your own garden, that you know there's no chemicals been used. So what I've made here is, so here, a green salad. So I'm going to have for my lunch with a bit of lemon juice on and olive oil. You can see the green, little bits of green in there, which are the leaves, not a lot. It's best to pick the young ones, and they're nicer and cleaner as well. But also you can see the yellow petals from the flowers there. A little bit bittery in taste, but that's what I'm going to have for my lunch. Loads of recipes online to making drinks, food, soups. So one for the adults that I've done here as well. If I can get it. There we have, you can just about see that, I think. So that's going to be a dandelion liqueur. So what I've done there is I've got about 12 flower heads, again clean and from where I know there's no chemicals been used. Some sugar, lemon juice again, lemon zest, so a clean jar, recycled jar, and a small bottle of vodka. So again, obviously this is for the adults. It's been in there about 3 or 4 days now, so I'm going to leave it for probably another 2 weeks, strain it off and then see what it tastes like. Apparently it tastes a little bit herbally, so more of a liqueur, and we'll have that bittery, probably herbal taste as well. So there's one for the adults, but like I say, there's loads of recipes online, so have a look and maybe share some of them with us all. As well as food, it's really good, and maybe for the younger ones in your family, art. We can use dandelions in art as well. So we're going to take a look at that now. So there are a couple of things you can do regarding art. The yellow head. Loads of yellow coming out there. So use it as a colouring. You can draw around it. And it is said that you can use it as invisible ink. Now, it doesn't work that well. If you pick the dandelion right at the bottom near the ground, and then there's a white sap that comes out, you can draw with it, which again, let's say, hasn't worked very well. And then when it heats up, hairdryer or in the sun, you can see it, so it's like invisible ink. But I think the best thing is the colour from the yellow flower. think the best bit of the artwork for me is the vivid bright yellow from the flowers. But like I say, have a go at the invisible ink. It just hasn't worked out well for me. Maybe try longer stems and do all your artwork outside. So, there's 3 things that you can do with dandelions. Have a look in your garden or on your short walk to see what insects, butterflies and bugs are visiting them. See if you can identify what they are. If you've got some dandelions in your garden, pick them and make some recipes and maybe share those recipes. And finally, the artwork. I hope you've enjoyed this short video. There'll be another one along soon. Thank you for joining me and stay safe.